All right, guys, what's going on? Y'all know why I'm here. Y'all know what I'm here to talk about. Um, it's not a whole lot to say, honestly. There's a lot of people, a lot of fans who are very doom and gloom after this disappointing loss to the Dallas Cowboys yesterday. Not me. I don't think that the season is over. I don't think it's the end of the world. But even coming into this game, I had tempered my expectations just a bit. So while I am disappointed, this is not a shocking loss to me, man. This not super surprised. If you told me coming in that we would lose 21-24, I would say, okay, that makes sense. Teams are both of us very different than how we look in week one of the season. Both teams have had additions. Things have happened during the course of the last 12 weeks. So I didn't expect it to even look similar to our game in week one. But if you told me that we went into halftime with a 21-7 lead and then lost 21-24, I'd be a little bit more surprised. Still not shocked, but definitely more surprised. If you're looking for somebody to blame for this game, there's a lot of blame that can go around. But one person that I'm not going to blame this game is Jalen Hurts. I feel like he did what he usually does. Like, he didn't turn the ball over. He had a passing touchdown to A.J. Brown, who also had a very good game. 2 rushing touchdowns. We went 3 for 3 in the red zone. Still, But everything else, I don't know if it's the play calling still. Obviously, we were not aggressive enough with the play calling. Our offense is not aggressive enough to overcome the adjustments that defenses make at halftime. That's why you see us come out and we usually have a good first half. And then coming out in the second half, it just looks completely different because it feels like they're not making any adjustments in preparation for the adjustments that the defense is going to make. If you go into halftime with a lead, obviously, even if it was the other way around, like if you're losing at halftime, you're going to go in and you're going to make adjustments to whatever the other team is doing to try to slow them down, to try to get back into the game. So knowing that as an offense, if you come back out being conservative, doing the same things that you did in the first half, common sense is going to tell you that it's not going to be as successful. Like I said, I would put the blame for this game squarely on the coaches. Now, obviously, execution was a huge reason why. We turned the ball over twice. Once on a Saquon Barkley fumble, who we also are going to have to talk about a little bit. It's time to have a conversation about Saquon. And then the other one by Gibson, who we picked up not too long ago after he was released by the Jets for what? Lack of ball security. So, I mean, it's just a lot of things that are coming back to bite us in the ass. The same things that have been going on all season. The same problems with the offense. Luckily, the defense is playing better. And I think for the problems that the Dallas Cowboys offense presents, I don't think the defense did a bad job. They could have tackled a little better. They could have forced another turnover. They could have done certain things a little bit better. But holding an offense that has routinely been putting up 30 to 40 points every game, I think we did well on defense. All we needed was one more score. Like, no, we didn't score at all in the second half. Like, anyhow, like I said, it's time to talk about Saquon, man, because let me get to him. So Saquon had 10 carries for 22 yards. 10 carries for 22 yards. And you might say, why does he only have 10 carries? Bruh, the Eagles have no option but to abandon the run. The run has not worked for 12 weeks. Like, I don't know what it's about. I don't know if Saquon has lost a step. It doesn't look like he has. Well, it did when he lost that fumble. That was not a Saquon play. But we also not doing a good job of opening holes for him, being creative and getting him the ball in space. It's just not, we're not doing a good job of that. And I think at least half of it is on Saquon. I don't know if he's pressing too hard because he's trying to hit a home run or what's going on, man. But his longest carry was 7 yards. Tank Bigsby had one run for 8 yards. So something ain't right with Saquon. He's still my guy, but something ain't right. Like I said, Jalen Hurts, I think he had a decent game. He even said in the post game, all he can do is execute the plays that are called for him. And I think that may or may not have been a subtle shot at the play calling or at the coaches. But, he ain't lying. 27 for 39, 289 yards, a touchdown. He only took one sack. Granted, that sack was in the worst fucking possible moment. But he got, one sack. Like, what could you blame on Jalen? He got a couple off throws, as he usually does. Like, nobody's perfect. A.J. Brown was heavily involved, especially in the first half. Eight receptions on 10 targets for 110 yards and a touchdown. Smitty balled 6 receptions, 89 yards. But this offense is just stagnant, bro. Stagnant, unimaginative, no creativeness, no aggressiveness. And that good. It's good when you not turning the ball over. And granted, the turnovers weren't. It's not like we went out and had 5 turnovers. The offense only had 1, and that was on Saquon. The other one was on the punt return, which he fielded at the 1 yard line. He should have let that shit go into the end zone anyways. At the point of the game we were at. But, that's a whole nother conversation. I don't know where Britan Covey is. I don't know what happened to him. He's still on the roster somewhere. But we've been giving all of these other people opportunities to return kicks. And I honestly don't know why. But, it was mentioned that as far as the run game, a part of the reason why they had trouble getting the run game going is because Dallas was using a lot of five-man fronts, which is understandable. But as an offense, as a coordinator, as a play caller, you have to scheme around those things. Where are your adjustments? If they using 5-man fronts, okay, throw an extra offensive lineman out there. Run 6 offensive linemen. Like, do something, bruh. But as I said, I'm not super doom and gloom. I don't think everything is over. You win some, you lose some. You're going to lose some games. You're going to lose some ugly ones. You're going to win some that you ain't supposed to win. I think we're still in a good position. We 8-3. Still in a good spot to make the playoffs, have a good seed, maybe even make a good run. But it's time to temper the expectations if you think a repeat is likely. Because with, 5 weeks left in the season, we still haven't gotten the offense going at all, like to the point that it needs to be. If you think that we're going to go into the playoffs and it's just going to click, a flip is just going to switch, Got everything coming. So to avoid disappointment, I'm telling you now, and the Eagles fans out there, go ahead and temper your expectations. This is a good team. Still think this is a good team, one of the better teams in the league. But I think our shortcomings and our flaws are going to rear their head at times, at the most inopportune times, is what I'm going to say. This is a game I feel like we really needed. Not as far as the playoff race, but we're not the number one seed now. The Rams won yet again. They blew out another contender, or who we thought was a contender, in Tampa Bay last night. And I think they deserve to be the number one seed in the NFC. I think they, throw away that game when we miraculously blocked 2 kicks to win that game. Throw that out the window. I think that they're a better team right now. They're playing with much more confidence. Their offense is way more consistent, and they're getting the job done on both sides of the ball. So now, if we have it to a situation where we can get the number one seed, and the Rams have to come to Philly in January, I might feel a little differently. But as of right now, I don't think that we beat them if we play right now. Now, hopefully, if it shapes out the way it's looking right now, with them having a 1 seed and us maybe having a 2 seed, then we won't play them unless we both make it to the NFC Championship. So hopefully somebody else could take them out in their opening round, or however it may happen, because it ain't looking good. I'm going to tell you that much. Penalties shot us in the ass, bro. I have never seen that many penalties against the Eagles. I don't know what the fuck was going on. 14 penalties. 14 penalties. And I think that's a big reason why the offense was a little stagnant yesterday, because every time we made a play, every time we got a good run, every time we got a first down, it's getting called back due to a legal man downfield, illegal formation. There's an offensive pass interference in there. And I will say, not all of those calls were good calls, but shit, that's what happens. We won a game on a good call, on a bad call last week. So I can't sit here and blame the refs. You can't let the refs affect the game. You know what I mean? And I say this all the time. If you in a position where the refs can decide the game for you, that means you didn't execute. Because if you up 2 scores, does a penalty hurt you? Could be the most egregious call in the world, but if you in a position that you one flag, or shit, even 14 flags is going to hinder you from winning, that means you're not executing at a high enough level offensively. I think the defense is still, like I said, in a good spot. Giving up 24 to an offense like this isn't, anything that's out of this world. Now, we do have trouble because it looks like both of our safeties are hurt. Reed Blankenship hurt a hip or something. Makuba went down with a lower leg injury. It looked like. I haven't seen much news on that. But that means we could be going into next week playing the Bears without our 2 starting safeties. So that's going to be an issue. But the defense, I'm not worried about the defense. I know that we have a competent coach coordinating the defense. So I know whatever adjustments need to be made, Vic is going to do that. The offense is what I'm worried about. We mostly healthy on offense other than Lane, who's going to be out a few weeks. But Fred Johnson, for the most part, held up decently. Like I said, they only had 1 sack. So let's just temper these expectations, man. Because, still a good team. I'm not too upset or shocked about this loss. It happens. flush it and move on, learn from it. But I just don't have the faith that they're going to learn from it because they've been having these learning moments all year and we still seeing the same shit from week to week. So, yeah, it is what it is. Again, my biggest takeaway from this is I don't know what it is with Saquon, but you know, something is off with Saquon, bro. Let's see. So on the year, Saquon has 185 attempts for 684 yards and 4 touchdowns. He probably had double this last year by week 12. I would have to go and look at that, but he probably already had 1,200 yards by week 12. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the O-line. I don't know if it's the play calling. I don't know if it's him. I really don't believe it's him, but and I don't think the players believe it's him either because if you listen to what A.J. Brown said last week when they asked him if he wasn't the same player anymore, you know, he said, well, I guess Saquon ain't the same person either. And he got flack for that comment, but it gives insight because if you look at what this team did last year offensively, while not like record setting, we were a good offense. We were able to do enough that we could play complementary football with the defense and win a lot of games. But right now, it just don't seem like anything is working, you know? Moving forward, I think we could still win a lot of games. Like, I think we might, I think we are able to not win out, but I don't see us losing a lot more games. You get what I'm saying? We got Chicago, who are beatable. Good team, but beatable. We got the Chargers, also a good team, very beatable. We got the Raiders. We got the Commanders. We got Buffalo. And then we got the Commanders again. I don't see us losing more than 2 games in this final 6-game stretch. Now, it just depends on how the rest of the NFC shapes up. But like I said, we still in a position to make shit shake, but my expectations are completely tempered right now. The only way I see this working is if our defense somehow carries us, you know, into the postseason. But that just doesn't give me a lot of faith, though, because you got to score in this league to win games, and we not scoring. Well, we'll score for a half, but then I don't know what the fuck happens after that. I mentioned that, you know, holding Dallas to 24 isn't a bad game by any means, but only scoring 21 on Dallas's defense, while improved, it ain't improved enough that y'all should have been shut out in the second half, bro. But anyhow, that's pretty much my thoughts on the situation. We'll have more news regarding injuries probably coming out in the next couple of days. I really didn't watch too much post-game stuff or see anybody else's reactions. I was kind of, you know, I'd be tipsy on game days. So after the game, I just went to sleep, bro. I wasn't even too upset about it. But yeah, you know, we'll have a show coming probably tomorrow. We didn't do a pre-week show. This week we couldn't get to it. We had a lot going on between me and my co-host and shit. But yeah, just looking at Saquon's numbers, bro, in the last few weeks, bro, it's kind of wild. 22, 88, 60. He did put up 150 against the Giants. That was his season high. Then he had 44, 58, 30, 43, 46 going back. Like, what the fuck is going on with Saquon, bro? Not even 700 yards through 12 weeks. Sheesh. Defenses ain't adjusted that much. Like, the problem is we only have so many routes and so many plays. It feels like this playbook is limited. Like, we got 12 weeks of film out there, and if we not doing nothing new from week to week, these defenses see what's coming, bro. These people been watching film and playing football their whole life. We're not gonna fool them with this mediocre, uncreative ass bullshit that we putting out there. Shit just don't look right, man. Hats off to the Cowboys. You know, y'all won the game. Cool. You win some, you lose some. Congratulations on your 5th win of the season. You know, I ain't mad at you. But if the Eagles don't get some shit together, man, it's gonna be a very disappointing season for a lot of us. My disappointment is going to be minimum because I've been seeing this shit unfold all year. So, but let us know how you felt about that game, what you noticed, what you think you see going forward. You know, what you think is wrong with the Eagles offense. Is it Saquon? Is it the coaching? Is it just the vibes? Is the vibes just not right? I don't know. I think all those things got something to do with it, but y'all let me know how y'all feel. I'll see y'all in a couple days. It's still Go Birds, dickhead.